Welcome to the Matching Ideas with Resources Networking Podcast, sponsored by GLM Financial, an accounting firm in Scharenberg focusing on providing professional accounting and business services to small and medium-sized companies throughout the Chicagoland area. I'm Tom Ghosh, business strategist with GLM. Today I'm talking with a longtime friend of mine, Chuck Scharenberg, a business growth consultant with Kaizsen Consulting. We talk about taking a systems approach to growing your business, which includes your people, cash flow and profits, along with expanding delivery, marketing, sales, and of course, providing customer value.
So we make sure that we understand what's important to the individual business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be retirement, it can be kids' education, it can be a different kind of client,
Right.
different kind of product, whatever that is. Being clear about that, and then we help them design the business that will help them achieve that. So with that said, and then being clear that there's an opportunity for growth in their particular industry.
Okay.
With that said, we address two areas, business and leadership.
Okay.
So in business, it's, now again, our way of growing a business is a systems approach. So here are the different modules that can be customized for the business owner. So I've worked with people that cash flow and profit was an issue,
Mm-hmm.
or sales and marketing was an issue, or people, or their fundamental structures, or they really wanted to focus on expansion.
Okay.
And of course, the core of all this is customer value.
Right.
So the idea is to come up with an action plan that will meet their needs. And then we develop, with that action plan, we determine how often we'll meet. Now, with the leadership, what makes our particular offering a bit unique is that we have an integrated program for line workers, middle managers, and senior leaders.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is that they spend part of 1 day a month for 10 months with them. In the morning, the line workers and the middle managers meet for 4 hours. In the afternoon, the middle managers and the top leaders meet for 4 hours. And in the evening, the top leaders meet over dinner. So that can be for an individual firm,
Mm-hmm.
or we have an open enrollment kind of thing, where maybe we're working with 10 different companies at one time in our hotel room.
Right.
And of course, they're able to cross-fertilize their information. But the idea is that in that program, they pick a project to accomplish. And they end up with common language and common tools that have achieved the process. The project. So I don't know of other places that are doing that. Of course, we can separate it out. I have one potential client that has a leadership development program, but doesn't have a middle manager development program. So we're in conversations that might result in us partnering to achieve that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I don't. Everybody from linesmen to the lower echelon managers.
You can look at it a different way. We're looking at solo contributors
Mm-hmm.
or high potentials.
Mm-hmm.
There's different examples, Tom, of where line workers are asked to show leadership. In the hotel industry, depending on the hotel, housekeeping staff are given a freedom to spend up to $50 to $500 to solve a guest issue.
Okay.
Right there. You've got a problem, we'll replace it.
Right.
You don't have to go through 10 channels. So it's providing people with the skills that they need to be able to make those kinds of decisions to satisfy customers' needs. So the words that we use are that the line worker is able to generate performance at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
And the middle manager is able to accomplish more results through others. And the senior leader is able to create and unfold a compelling future for everybody. So that's, the whole program is based around that.
Right.
One is the line worker is being able to produce more. The middle managers learning how to do it through others. And then indeed the top leader providing the path.
Interesting. So complete organizational leadership.
Right. And you and I both know about programs that deal with only one of those.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is important. It's gosh darn important.
Right.
Yet we're finding a way to do this, and we did this for a firm. The impetus to do this was with a firm that had a great opportunity. They were going to be able to put in an application for all sorts of additional work that was being bid.
Mm-hmm.
And they got most of the contracts through their marketing prowess, but they had to have the organization to back it up. So they basically doubled the size of the organization as far as billable hours. And they had to have the manpower trained to be able to implement that contract. And this was the way they were able to do it.
Yeah, I've seen situations where, a manager comes back from a conference and says, we're doing it this way, and this is how we're doing it from now on. And, 4 weeks later, it's back to the way it was. So having a process like this probably works out real well.
Well, spreading it over 10 months, the idea is that, as you and I have talked about, Kaizen means incremental growth and continuous improvement, and building the business step by step. So they end up with some assignments at the end of each meeting that they can then go wrap their arms with.
So is there any particular industry where you'd rather work compared to others?
We go across industries with the exception of restaurants and retail.
Okay.
So the key component is that there is some kind of relationship required or service element involved, and that can include manufacturing. The manufacturers have to provide service to the wholesalers, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so we work with a lot of technical folks that include architects, engineers, engineering firms, subcontractors in the construction business, as well as service professionals. So we work with accountants, architects, any professional. We've worked with a lot of financial planners.
Okay. As I mentioned before, right now I'm going into the clients of GLM by the invitation of the accountant because I've given them certain things to listen for. And so now they're actually putting on their ears and listening for those things to come up. It could be succession planning. It could be, leveled off for revenues or whatever it happens to be. And then I just come in and listen to what the business owner has to say about it. And usually there's complaints. Usually there's something that, just a couple of suggestions I can make, and it changes things around because they're very small businesses. The organization was founded by providing accounting to gas stations. So right now it's kind of my introduction to gas stations. Others they do have some manufacturers, and they're getting up there in age, and they have certain things that they want to accomplish as they retire. So that's why I'm trying to come up with as many resources for them as possible, because if all goes well, I'm working in the ear of all of the clients of GLM. And I wouldn't be able to spend 10 months with one particular client to help provide leadership training to their whole workforce. It's just not something that I know that I want to do.
When you mentioned smaller companies, right now, one of our offerings are telephone courses.
Okay.
Actually, they're webinars. So, you can work from your computer and see the materials that we're discussing on the screen. And what brings it to mind, Tom, is that we're working with a lot of small companies, some solopreneurs. On the call today, I was really conscious of a woman who does training for hypnotherapists.
Oh, wow.
So, she's a hypnotherapist herself, but she provides a certification program for people that are clinicians, social workers, and the like, who want to expand a modality. But if you will, that's an example of a solo entrepreneur
Sure.
that is likely to use your kind of accounting services,
Sure.
that in fact wants these sales skills as opposed to the leadership skills necessary.
So, how would you classify yourself? Like, accountants here are accountants. I've called myself a business strategist, which is something you said that you have said about yourself. What would you classify yourself if you had to?
The easiest way I say it is, our job is we're a business growth consultant.
Okay.
And I sometimes say advisor because that can incorporate coaching, consulting, training, and facilitation. So it would be working one-on-one with the business owner, and then with their immediate team, and then finally with their whole crew. But because there are enough consultants out there, my distinction is I'm a business growth consultant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sounds about what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
And people use different words, and I'm happy to go with whatever word they say.
Yeah, I had come up with business strategist because at some point consultant had a negative ring to it to some people, and they grabbed for their wallet to make sure I didn't pick it, when I told them I was a consultant. And go from there.
Well, I have to work with those same things.
Yeah.
It depends on where. And so I'm having conversations with people about what kind of things have you already referred to your clients, and what has been the roadblocks to referring to some others.
Right.
So getting clear on that determines whether they work with people that appreciate the value of outside resources or not.
Right, which is where we want to be too. We have great accountants that have great ideas that, if they don't get implemented, are just great accountants with great ideas. So
where do you focus? Where does the firm focus on?
Manufacturers, small manufacturers, the ones that you might see in Elk Grove, that have, between 5 and maybe 50 employees. Our sweet spot seems to be about between 20 and 30 employees is where I see most of the small manufacturers. And we're working with the business owner specifically on being their accountant, and at the end of every month kind of telling them where they are financially, besides profit and loss, taking a look at their expenses and their and everything.
So there again, I have worked with several people where we set the line of demarcation. You guys do this stuff.
Right.
And we'll work with these other things.
And sometimes it helps to have that other eye too.
Right.
To be able to, hey, have you thought about this, and have you thought about that?
So I'm aware that in your role, you can indeed be the strategist, and you might want somebody to run deep in one of these areas.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I want to accept that and applaud you in that. Say, that's what you bring to the table. God love you, and I can support you in these ways.
And in most of the cases right now, what I'm doing is giving them ideas, and then when we come back for a quarterly meeting, if things have improved, they've taken my ideas and run with them. If they haven't, and I approach them on it, and they say, yeah, that was a great idea, but I never did anything with it, it's that second meeting where I start bringing in somebody that will, put their feet to the fire and say, this is what you promised to do, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
Again, I can't sit there and hold their hand on it. So the parts that we're talking about here in your process is looking at profit and cash flow, fundamental structures of the organizational chart and things like that, which include the people, marketing and new sales, and expanding delivery capacity, and of course always, because it's got the asterisk on it, is always providing the customer values. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming by and talking to me about this. Thanks for listening to the Matching Ideas with Resources podcast, sponsored by GLM Financial. I'm Tom Ghosh, business strategist with GLM, steering direction, matching ideas with resources.